Okay, so it's 8:35. I'm starting a little late. See, something's missing back here. So the tractor's out. It's my brother was over here and he took the tractor out and was doing that thing and he said, "Well, I'm just gonna leave it out." It's like it's so open. I keep looking at my phone like like it's so funny how it's like kind of I'm still not used to this and that and being separate or whatever. So anyways, it's 8:36. Did I already say? Because it was 8:35 a second ago on the 11th, Wednesday. So Wednesday the 11th, like we're partially way through March now, almost halfway. Let's see how many days are in this month. 31. And it's got a Friday the 13th. So I looked it up the other day because last month it was a Friday the 13th. This is a Friday the 13th, and the next one's November. But this one has significance, people were saying, because it is in alignment with when in 2020 what went down here in America when the closed down, when they told us run, hide your homes, put on a mask, be scared of everybody. So, anyways, that's what's up with that. And the good news is, so Max is still with us. So I'll tell you the update on that. So I started giving him the CBD, and when he was like having this pain, he had the choking thing, and then she had told me like, well, he could choke to death, and so then I was like, oh my God, I'm just so evil. I'm just, because I don't want to feel bad, then I'm making him stay here and suffer. So I felt horrible. So I moved the day up from Wednesday to Tuesday. And because I was like, man, Wednesday, God, that's far. God, I just felt bad. Like I felt like I was being selfish or something. And so then the next night he was showing all this pain, and I was like, oh my God, I don't know, maybe I should change it to Monday. And that was on the weekend. And so Stella's on all that CBD. So I gave him some of her CBD, which I've given it to him before. And before when he had, because he's been doing this for a while, this hitting and then crying and stuff, and I just didn't know what it was. I kept thinking, well, maybe his ears bothering him, maybe it's his paw. And anyways, so I gave him the CBD, and he has been great, and he's been running around with the dogs and doing, like he took off again. So my brother got here yesterday, and I was just stressed out all morning, and they were all in the morning while I was sitting over there making a cup of tea, which I have a cup of tea. Hold on. They were all lined up in this line. I did a couple shorts because it was so damn cute, and they were all just lined up along the trunks right here on their little beds. And so I was just like stressing, like, oh my God, because it's just like you just go back and forth. Am I going to make him suffer, or am I being selfish? Like you just keep spinning around and around this, like, God, what do I do? What do I do? And so then my daughter got up, and so I think I don't remember. I think she was like, man, he does seem like he's doing better. And I was like, yeah, and he looks like he's gained weight. And I said, I think he's doing better. And so she starts looking up. Like, she's doing all this research, trying to figure out, like, well, what else could it be? What could be going on and all that. So she's doing all this research, trying to figure stuff out. And then my brother gets here at about the same time she got up. And so when I open the door, the dogs all run out. Well, most of them stay right there. Max always is like, oh, beeline, I'm out of here. See ya. And so he just takes off. So I'm sitting there talking to my brother, and he's asking, about what the deal is and stuff. And I said, I don't know. It's just stressing me out. And because he seems like he's better. And so then my brother was watching him. Then my brother said something that was funny. I'll tell you in a sec. And so he's like, man, he seems good. Like he's just out there walking, living his life. He's just way out there just walking around like, hey, I'm good. And so then it was the thing that was funny that my brother said. Because I said, well, I gave him some CBD, so it seems like it's helping. And he said, uh, he said, I got to think of how the conversation went, because it was, he said something about, well, um, you give him some medicine and he feels better. And then, it was something like, something with Monty Python. No, you're dying. Anyways, and so it was something about like, he's out there, feeling good and everything. And then, I'm telling him like, well, he wasn't saying me. He was just saying that, then you're telling him, yeah, but you're sick, so we got to kill you. And it's like, wait, I'm doing good. And so anyways, it was just a funny conversation. And we were standing out there for a while. Max was just going all over the place, taking off and everything. And my daughter's still Googling stuff. So then I go in and I call the vet. And and my daughter's like, why don't you just call and talk to him, to the vet? And so I called, and that was the man working, he's the owner. And so she said that, what Stella is doing. And so she said he was in surgery and stuff. And so I said, well, I'll just come to the appointment and talk to him, but I don't know that I'm going to do this today because he seems better. And so we went, and then I weighed him. He's gained 3 pounds. So he had gained 3 pounds, but his head still is all concaved and stuff. And so the vet came in and we talked to him and stuff. And he said that there was some strange things, because he said that usually they'll only do that on one side of the head, not both sides. He said that's unusual that it's done that on both sides. And he said, he was talking about some different neurological things and cancer and autoimmune and all of that stuff. And he said, it's really hard to tell. And he said, but yeah, if he seems like he's doing good, then, let's just give him more time. Let's just play it, let's just see what happens. So that's what we're doing at this point. Because especially, what if it's autoimmune? What if he has these periods of time and then it gets better and worse and better? I don't know. I have no idea. But right now he's gaining weight. He is enjoying his life. And that's the one thing too, is like, it's more of when they don't want to eat and they don't want to get up, unless it's like severe pain, then it's like, and there's no hope. So I don't know. I mean, Max or Winston had definitely reached that point, because he had cancer for like a year. I don't remember, it was during quarantine. And then I think it was like 9 months or something. He wasn't getting better. And but then when he started not being able to get up and he was in pain and stuff, that's when I was like, oh man, I can't do this. This is horrible. And so that's when I called him. But he wasn't showing any signs of getting better at all. Like Max, all of a sudden, he's like seeming better. And he is gaining weight. So the vet, I told him, like, he can swallow chicken. He can't swallow certain things, but he can swallow chicken. Today I gave him chicken and potatoes, and he swallowed them fine, didn't make a mess at all. And then I'm giving him the CBD. And then the vet, too, he was like, well, let's just try. I said he has a real problem swallowing water. So the vet was like, well, let's try the water thickener and see what goes down. So I got the water thickener. So I'm going to see if that helps him to be able to drink the water better. I still got to keep all the dogs, all their water separate and stuff like that. But he turns the water thicker. Anyways, he turns it into thick foam. It's like, ugh, it's so disgusting. But every time he drinks. So I got to change the water constantly. Stella, please stop. She was just laying there asleep. I swear to God, every time I start to do something, it's always like suddenly a drama. Every motherfucking time, man. I have got so much pains in my body. I swear to God, I'm giving them the CBD and I'm thinking, man, maybe I ought to take a little of this stuff. It's like, God, I'm so uncomfortable. So, I start taking the dog drops. Wouldn't that be gross? Putting it in their mouth. Ew, that's disgusting. But, oh yeah, and I got old Ruthie over there. She's just bleeding like a sieve all over the place. So I got some more of those doggy diapers. This time I just sewed them, because the problem is that when on the measurement thing, so dogs that have a big waist, they assume the dogs are big. And so she doesn't fit the criteria. So she's got this big waist, but she doesn't have like, 16 inches around to her, from her waist to her vagina, or from her tail to her vagina. Like, I couldn't believe it. 16 inches? Like, what? In order to have the waist thing that's like 28 inches. So she's 28 inches. And then she's, like, her back thing is like 6 inches. And then her, from tail to her vagina, I think it was like maybe like 8 inches or something, way different than 16. So anyways, I just sewed them and made them better fit. So what is that called when you sew something to fit you more proper? So anyways, the word just keeps coming. Hold on, it's like a woodpecker poking in my brain right now. It starts with an A. A seamstress. I can't think of it. But anyways, I just can't imagine. I mean, how much she's just like, oh my God, so much. So she's definitely in her first heat, and I guess it could be like 3 weeks, and then it will be only like when it happened with Lucy, it was just like another month until the next one, and so then I really got to make the decision if I'm gonna take her in and get the surgery at that point, or if I'm just gonna give her a little bit more time of just being. It's so funny too, like after a period starts, she really does act like a little, it's like changed her personality somewhat. She just acts like a little teenager or something. It's really funny. It's like a little because like when you very first start your period and you're a teenager, you think you're like a little woman or something. I don't know, it's funny. So anyways, but she definitely changed her personality a bit. So anyways, I still have 4 dogs. I kept thinking, well, now I'm going to have 3 dogs. And part of you is like, well, that would be less work. but, I can't just be like, well, you're a burden. I'm going to go ahead and I'm not dealing with you. I didn't. And so I asked about the head shrinkage thing. And he said, oh, it'll probably stay like that because it's all atrophied. But then he did say that he had a dog that got hit with a trailer inside the head, and then it atrophied all of this muscle. He said all that tissue, and he said that though about a year later it all started growing back. So I don't know, maybe his head shape will grow back, but right now he still has this really odd looking head, but he is gaining weight, so maybe he'll gain some fat. I don't know. But anyways, so still have 4 dogs, still going about on that. This morning I heard this song. It was so powerful. It's like, oh my God. And it was a video that popped up, and it was, what is that? Search for a Star? America's Next Star? Something like that. I don't remember. America's Greatest Talent. Something like that. I used to watch that show. Excuse me, pardon me. And I used to watch that show a long time ago. But anyways, so I see clips sometimes of people sharing like singers and stuff. And so this was a singer and a guitar player, and she was an older woman with long white hair, and her voice, oh my God. It was like this gravelly, deep, soulful voice. Oh my God, it's so good. Hold on. But the topic, oh, it is. So they created the this whole scenario in our existence of, somebody does you wrong, banned or no contact. The no contact. All these psychologists have pushing no contact. Just have nothing to do with them ever again. Well, this is the counterbalance to that, and it is. Oh my God, it's so powerful. And the song's like 9 minutes long because I did a screen recording because I was going to send it to somebody, and it's too big of a package. But I send it to a bunch of people, and but I could send them the TikTok, and so then they can just go listen to it themselves. But to record this song and then trying to send it, it's too big of a package. So but I'm going to put it on here in the comments. I'm going to share the link to it, So if anybody wants to go and listen to it, because it's powerful, man. And then there's tons of people who are out there in this no contact zone, especially in quarantine, where the division, like, let's not all get along, let's not just accept one another, let's just separate and fuck everybody. So it's it's part of the agenda. And so anyways, but this is like the counterbalance, because everything's flipping. And so this is bringing it home, man. And it's like, you just gotta listen to it. It's really, really good. That's all I can tell you. It's really powerful. And it's definitely, the consequences of your choices. So you choose that, and this is what happens. And you don't see it coming, but it's coming. And so, and I'm sure there's already been people dealing with it. Everything comes in waves. And there's going to be more, because people don't realize, like, once you go no contact and then the person goes, you can't express yourself, you can't heal the wounds. You're carrying them at that point. They're really hard to move beyond. Now you have, like, and then you've got all of this new things that come and hit you. And so it's definitely not a healthy choice to tell people, if somebody hurt your feelings, just go no contact, have nothing to do with them. No, they're coming in and hurting your feelings because it's to help you learn how to have better boundaries, to learn how to value yourself and how to take care of yourself. But that doesn't mean that, every single person, because at that point, when anybody, like, you blow off somebody hurts your feelings, so you blow them off. Then another person, well, they hurt my feelings, and so you blow them off. And then another person. Pretty soon you're caged in isolation because you don't want your feelings to get hurt. So are you becoming stronger, or are you becoming weaker? And one thing too about somebody hurting your feelings is, like, who cares what their opinion is? Like, you grow through it. Like, you get your feelings hurt and you're crushed and you feel bad and you feel like you should do something different, and there's all the feelings, the range of emotions you go through. But then when you finally complete the circuit, you get your way through it, you come to the point of, like, who cares what their opinion is? Their opinion is just, you start looking at people like, their opinions are broken too. Everybody's broken, so why am I sitting here valuing what you think over how I feel? Why do I let you affect me in that way? And that is learning how to value yourself and how to have better boundaries. Like, you don't have to argue. Like, when I was at my mom's, I didn't, when I would get triggered and stuff, I didn't go in and be like, well, yeah, I'm going to take a stand on this. I'm going to go in, I'm going to tell her a thing or two, and I'm going to, put her in her place and make her feel bad. I'm going to hurt her feelings. Because when it came down to it, too, she's putting herself out by having somebody and my dogs and everything. Even though we're in the garage, it was still in her space. I'm still coming into her bathroom, she still has got someone there. So she still is giving something, which I knew she didn't really want to give, because she told me right off the bat, oh, I don't want you to come. And I still pushed, like, well, I don't have anywhere to go. I can go live in my car, which I'll do if I have to, but you can't you can't rent places with dogs now. They're just being abandoned right and left. You can't, certain breeds, you're fucked. You can't, what was it? So you can't rent places. Oh, a hotel, yeah. Because then I thought about a hotel, but then it's it's a big thing with your dogs, and so it becomes a point of for people when they are losing their homes, is that they have to decide what they're going to do about their animals, and a lot of people are just giving them up, just being like, well, I got to have a place to live. And I just was like, well, I feel like it's more important. The animals, you bond with them and they trust you. And I feel more responsible to continue, especially with Stella. Yeah, she's been there for me we're going into 10 years now. So I wouldn't be like, well, she's kind of a problem. She wakes me up all night, and I spend hundreds of dollars every month for her supplements. And so anyways, I think people start looking at those things, and then instead of the companionship and stuff like that. So yeah, I made the choice that was right for me, and chose to stay in a garage and a tent. Now we're in this garage, but we still have a room and a bathroom, and I have a nice little setup for a kitchen, and I have my little setup for my little living room. I have my music, I have a table, I have my clothes, and my brother's going to build another room on top of this room. So there's going to be another room up there, which I'm going to put all my clothes and stuff up there. Then he's going to put a wall up here to close off my kitchen. And then I'm going to put another bed up in that room up there. So it'll be like a little condominium. And that's a big popular thing right now too, is, what do they call them, barn dominiums? So there's lots of people putting little condos inside of barns. And so that's what I have, a little condo inside of the barn. And he's going to make it bigger. So, I'm still, when things flip, when it's like what is that? It's like the changing of the wealth, how they call it. The people, like the wealthy, have all the hoarders have everything, and then whatever is going to happen is going to flip. And it's like all the things go back to the people who didn't have everything. And so there's going to be more abundance for us, more opportunities. And so at that point, I still am feeling like I want to build a house out here, but I just still got to see what he says. Before, when I said about moving that house out here, but I think it will depend on, what all the situation is, because, we'll just see. And then also this property that's next door, because there's another piece of property that's just like his next door. I was like, well, like maybe I could buy that one, and then it would be like we have this whole thing right here. And then I could put the house up on mine, and but we open it up, have this big giant lot. And so anyways, we'll just see, it's all. And and the other thing that could happen is also the water coming up. Like I said, on the map, it's hard to tell if it's coming up into my yard or if it's gonna go right past and just keep going, because I am in a valley. This is called Treasure Valley, and it's where all this growing occurs in Idaho. Well, it's not the only place in Idaho. Idaho grows a lot of stuff, though. But I'm also in an area where there's lots of wineries and stuff. Like, it's very fancy, some of these places. But then there's both sides. There's always both. There's like some people who don't have a lot, and then there's people who have a whole lot. And so, but one thing is, people are just so nice. Like, I like small town living, that's for sure. I really like, it's so funny too, because when I was younger, I was like, oh my God, when we first moved to Colorado, and I already had a child at this point, and my mom had moved, she got land in Colorado, and so I was the oldest daughter, so I was like, and married and had a kid, and I was like, well, we'll go up there, and we'll get a piece of land too, because, family stays together, and, so I went up there, and we each had a piece of property, but we didn't have money to build a house and do all the stuff you had to do at that point, but it was like the plan. And so I was renting this little small house in town, and I remember it was like $600 a month, and it was a whole house, and it was in Pagosa Springs, which Pagosa Springs now is like really huge, which that was the whole thing. They were projecting it was going to become this big touristy kind of place, because it's close to Wolf Pass, I think it's called, like a big ski place. So hold on, things get cold so quick. So anyways, and there was one little tiny market And we go in the store. My mom would be like, people, because she would go to church, and so she would know all these different people. And so she'd be talking to people and be like, oh, I can't stand that. And I would always be, and I even got a little job in a little restaurant. I would make the soup. And I liked that place. There was things that I liked, but I was more of like, I'm going to move to New York City. I'm going to live in the action. I want to have excitement and stuff. I was more of that kind of headspace. And so I kind of even lived like in my little fantasy world of like not being a mom and just being out there, just going in dance clubs and living this other life. And but anyways, I remember just telling her, I feel like the rejects of the world move to small town because they can't handle life. And now I'm one of those rejects, because it's like I can't handle the city either. I can't handle all of the bullshit, and just it's like it's too much. Like, who gives a shit about it? Like, who wants to live that way anymore? Like, and I know some people still do, but once you get to a certain point, it's just an energy sucker. And it's like, oh, I really like the like low key, just relaxing, going open the door and seeing deers run by, and you being next to the water, and seeing the ducks, having the geese fly over you, not hearing sirens. Like, I never hear sirens. It's just so calm, and you're like farther away from things, but I don't know. I always like it so much better. And so, anyways, I like it now, and I want to stay living like that. I want to stay living more rural, more out, away from, I don't ever want to be compacted in, living in a high rise. I saw this guy the other day, and it seemed like it was new news to him or something, and he said he lived in Long Island, which I don't know the whole layout. I know Manhattan is like the main place, I think, where people go to New York, and you're in like around there. Manhattan may only be like a few streets. I'm not really sure how it all is. I know Brooklyn, I think you have to go on some trains or something. And it used to be, people were like, oh my God, nobody lives in Brooklyn. And then it started becoming trendy. People started going out there and fixing places up, and you could get cheaper places. So I don't know what the deal is with Long Island. But this guy, he was doing this video because he said he was on the phone with the, I think at Apple. And so he said he was on the phone for a couple hours with this one person. And so while they're doing all of whatever it is they're trying to do, they're chatting. And she's in Mississippi. And she's talking about her place that she lives. Somehow they get on the conversation of where they live or something, and she told him that she has a 2-bedroom apartment, I think, or it could have been a house, whatever it was, and she pays, I don't remember now if it was like $800 or $1,200, but it was way less. I'm pretty sure it was $1,200. She pays $1,200 for a place in Mississippi. And the guy was like, what? You have 2 bedrooms and you pay $1,200? And she's like, well, is that too much? And he's like, no. You want to know what we get for $1,200? He's like, you're lucky if you get a tiny studio. And but like a lot of us have seen like the prices of what people pay in New York, and like if you want a normal apartment, I think it's like $4,000 or $5,000 a month. Like, who can afford to live there? And I don't know. I mean, seriously, how do they do it? And a lot of people, they have like shared residences. A lot of people live in like these, what we would consider like walk-in closets. They have like their a kitchenette. It's like a hotel room, and they're paying like a couple $1,000s to live in these places. And so he was freaking out, and he was like, if I go on Zillow, you're not going to find anything. If I put in, I wanted to pay $1,200, he said nothing will come up. He said I have to move up to $1,800 to get a studio, a place. And So it was like totally new news to him that people pay cheaper in other states. It was like, dude, you go in New York, you guys pay so much. Now it used to be that New York was like the highest. It was the most expensive place that you could be. But then San Francisco started competing with it, and then Seattle started competing with it, and then I think LA is close in behind. But they so it's not the only place. Like these big cities, big ports or whatever cities that they crank up the price and they make it extreme. And I don't know, like I don't know. I just don't get it. Like what now? I look at it as like, what is the big draw? You know, that you're gonna pay that much money, and it consumes you because you have to work. Some people work a couple of jobs. They don't just work one job. And if you're just working one, you probably have to work overtime because most jobs don't pay that. But that's why in Washington State they raised the minimum wage, because the Seattle was so expensive that people couldn't afford to live there. So they had to raise the minimum wage to, I think it's $16 an hour. It might be 15, but I think it's 16 for minimum wage in Washington State. And so it doesn't matter where you work. You work at McDonald's, you're getting paid $16 an hour. So it benefited the rest of the state, even though it's primarily due to the costs in Seattle, in the outlying area, because all of the suburbs and everything are super expensive. Issaquah, what are they, Bellevue, like all these places are super expensive. Bellevue is like a lot of rich people. Like when you're going and driving around Seattle, it's like Tesla. It's all over the place. And the Mercedes, Porsches, all these really expensive cars. And so it's a super expensive place. And it was a place where a lot of techie people started moving. And then there's lots of lakes. And Gates, I mean, he has a place there. Well, the guy who used to be Gates, he lives there, or he did, with his wife. Now, you know, that's all. It's all. You know, I saw a video again. Harry. I'll say that in a second. But anyways, but the rest of the state isn't as expensive. Like Spokane is nowhere near as expensive, but everybody gets to benefit from the high minimum wage in all the different cities because of Seattle, the whole area along the coast. And then when I went to Texas, and I found out their minimum wage was like $7, I was like, what? It's so weird when you live in one place. You just don't realize, like, oh my God, it's still $7 an hour here? How do people even make it? And so it is absurd, man. I don't know. Everything is just absurd. But Harry, yeah, and if you don't know who Harry is, he's one of those, and I've talked about him before. He's one of these. I really, at this point, I don't get it. Is he like the Aaron Parmas of the letter? Like, is he just to try and lead us in a different direction? Like, I know Aaron Parmas, he puts some information out that is worthy, but he also is very, he's being paid by a certain party. So he's very tainted in one direction because he's going to, he's going to put out what the people who are paying him tell him to put out. And he's definitely one of those. There's a lot of the people who are, especially the ones who report for the left, they are paid. And so they don't give an unbiased opinion. They're very biased. They're going to go with their paycheck. So what they're told to say in that attitude, that perspective is the one that they push. And so a lot of people like listen to him and think like it's an unbiased opinion. And it's like, no, he's telling you one side. He's not giving you both sides. In an argument, there's two sides, and you're just going with the one that you're listening to, which is not. And then besides the fact, even if you have somebody who when they're having an argument, and you're just siding with one person and going against the other person. It's like, why are we even interjecting ourselves into this fight? Why do we care? It's like, that's the part of like awakening and letting go. Like, I don't need this shit. And so, but here, so he is and I don't know before. Like, I started seeing him, I don't know, like maybe last year or something. And I don't remember when I very first started seeing him, what he was talking about. But it would be stuff in, like posts from the letter. So because I followed him for a while and I thought he was saying okay things, but then all of a sudden he started changing and he started like becoming super condescending and not just condescending, but arrogant. He's like got this real smug arrogance, and he is laughing at everybody now. He laughs at everybody because they think certain people are not good people. Well, when you were following the letter, question everything, that it would give certain things. Look more into this, look more into that. And so people were going and looking more into this and looking more into that, which, because something Aaron Parmas had said, so something that got brought to the surface is, how they give all these grants, all this money. Well, they got to, when they get this, $100 billion and the fiscal year ends in September, then they have to spend it or they have to give it back. So the misspending that is just being reported on, and I'm not sure which state it is, which senator or which official it is, but it is absurd. Motherfucking absurd. People are outraged because it's disgusting. Like, we could have used that money back ourselves. We got people who are starving, people who are homeless, and you're going out and spending. You just have to listen to it. It's like, $100 million on shrimp, $100 million on prime rib, $500 million on Apple products, just absurd shit, and just blowing money, and so it's disgusting. I don't know if that's when they have these big parties and give them little bags. Well, we had to do this party, so I don't know how they. That was the whole thing with the DOGE to come in and, start saying, look at this bullshit, and it's some bullshit, man. So, yeah, that's being exposed right now. But anyways, so this, but the letter, the question everything. So go look into this, go look into that, and it would give you some direction, so that's where, most of us thought, Tom Hanks, he's a good guy, man. Look at him. He's America's sweetheart. He's a superhero. Everybody loved him. He seemed like he was like this really good guy. Then you go and you follow the trails, follow these rabbit trails or breadcrumbs to the rabbit holes. Then all of a sudden you're like, oh my God. What in the hell? When I don't remember who the first one was. It seems like it was Donald was the first one to me, where it was like, wait a minute, what? And so I was like, oh my God. And then see, that's on the flip side. That's where they are tearing him down. And then all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute, he's not doing this stuff? You're making this shit up? And so that's where you're like, whoa, this is like a freaking head trip, man. But that was also when you started seeing like people who you thought were good people, and all of a sudden you're finding out like, no, these are evil motherfuckers, man. And so you're like, oh my God. And it just like flips your brain. And so these people who you think are like good people, all of a sudden you're finding out they're evil motherfuckers, and they do the most disgusting things ever. And so, it was a real head spin. And so when, people who were following along with all those posts and stuff were finding out, it wasn't like, everybody's like looking like, well, it was like it was in the stuff. And then when you went and looked it up, so you went and you looked it up, and you did research, and then you found the truth about these people. And so it was a whole thing. And it went on for years. And now, so the deal is with Harris. So most of us who followed along with that stuff, we have very specific people who we look at as like, no, these people are not good. And these people are really evil. And they are associated with a lot of dark shit. And so, which right now, this whole thing where Candace was like being friends with Erica for a minute, it's like blew up. over the past few weeks, but now she's even putting out, like, she was a recruiter for Jeffree, so she and who knows if this is even the original one, but the whole thing with getting Charlie was a setup, and even now it's come out Charlie had been there to the island, so there's more and more of this crazy stuff, but everything is to try and get people hooked into like religion, because then you can just drag them along, make them feel guilty, and get them to do what you want and get their money and all this stuff, and direct how they look at things. So it's all a big bullshit thing, and it's going to keep falling. All these different things are going to keep falling apart, and you know the people who are involved in turning it, like it's just absurd. But this is the same thing that a lot of us went through already with the letter, and what a lot of people are going through now, and going and looking up things and seeing like, oh, he's like, this is CEO that's involved with this is over here in this, and it's like, wait a minute, it's a little tight. And so there's all of this things that people keep looking at that are falling apart. But yeah, we were all doing that years ago when the posts were out and they were telling you, go look up about this person, go look up about that person, like even RBG. Like I thought, man, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, I thought, oh, she's a fucking saint. But then you go and you start looking up shit and you start seeing it from the other side, and it's like, whoa, oh my God, I hadn't really thought about that. It makes it look like she's trying to be good for kids' rights, but really when you look at who she's doing it for, it's like, no, you fucking sicko, making it where they can do stuff to kids that are, and it's not a problem, it's not illegal to get my, it's like, oh my God, we were just falling for some bullshit, man. But so your head spins when you start seeing it, the whole picture, and you start seeing, you know, these people for who they are. And so the hidden side of them is it's revealed to you. And so now the thing is so, you know, Oprah being one, Tom Hanks, you know, there's a lot of these people. It's like, you know, these people aren't good people, and they are part of this system. And now, you know, I had said Oprah was out at this freaking fashion week or whatever it is in France, and another sign is that she's lost so much weight. Look at her, she's so thin now. She's just Miss Glamour of the fashion industry. She's just great, she's wonderful. And so this whole thing is being pushed, which they're always, when there's a big weight loss or a big, you know, surgery, I mean, they're still going to town on the Jim Carrey thing, which I got to give another one where I made a mistake. Because I kept saying Emma Thompson, even though I kept being like, it's not Emma Thompson, she's an older actress. But why does it sound like I was getting messed up? So it's Emma Stone. So Emma Stone is the one who is now, she looks like she's totally anorexic now. But she was the one that he had done that whole little, which I think it was some kind of a stunt thing to get attention on her. And they make these stars do these, what are they called? Like humiliation rituals. You know, well, you want this part, you need to do this. And, you know, you may look stupid, but, well, so I don't know. I still think that was some kind of a thing like that. Because I don't know, it seemed like, you know, he's gone out with lots of girls and he's been private about it, and then all of a sudden, you know, he's going online on YouTube and confessing his love to some girl he's never met, and she's the up and coming, and now look at, you know, she's out there on all this stuff. It's like they were pushing, so they needed attention on her. So I think it was some kind of a publicity stunt or something, but I don't know. But anyways, it's Emma Stone is who I'm talking about, not Emma Thompson. Emma Thompson's an older actress who's very well established. So anyways, I don't know about that, but you still have the, you know, the Jim Carrey, like more podcasts talking about it, more doctors talking about it, more confusion. Now there's another video going around saying, well, some of the people were saying he's dead, and then there's pictures of him in a hospital, and he is, they're saying that he died, and so they brought out this other one, and I don't know, I don't think it's true. I think that he's probably is in New Zealand or someplace and he's fine, but this is a big part of some kind of operation of getting us to see And there's a lot of things to see. Like people come out and say shit that they don't know anything about. Like doctors explaining what with his plastic surgery. It's like, dude, that is a mask. If you're so fucking good at your job, can't you notice? And it's like, well, you got Botox, It's like, so, anyways, and then you just got it's just all over the place. Like we have all these people channeling his dead self and all this stuff. So I don't know, there's a lot to see, but I just always go back to, well, if he was playing Joe and we just skimmed on past that we were under this whatever the what did I call it? Oh, like under a siege by some foreign entity, like because this person wasn't real and they didn't even get in legal. Like it was such a fucking, and we've just gone past it. Even though Donald brings it up all the time, that we just have blown it off. So I would say it's something to do about that. So I don't know. We'll see. Something shifts will happen, but right now it's still in this whole thing of, this, oh, he's dead and all this whatever. So on the Oprah thing, so in the Harry thing, so now Oprah is out there in a new body and new attitude and looking good. I mean, you listen to Harry, like, oh, she's just a picture of health. She looks so good, and she's such a good person. And it was all a psyop. She was really a good person. She's one of the good guys. She's out there pushing love and all this stuff. It's like, okay. So at this point, you're trying to tell us all that the whole thing about go do research, that it was all bullshit. Because he says Tom is a good guy. He's not gone. And then Harry starts making fun of people who believe in clones. Oh, what do you think they're just out? You go down to the Safeway and get a new clone or something like that. It's like, oh my God, what kind of, what kind of authority or what kind of a good conspiracy, like, if you don't know anything that's going on and you're sitting here talking shit that you don't know about, because 100% they are fucking cloning. Are you motherfucking kidding me? And then and I don't think this new Jim is a clone. I think it's a guy in a mask. I think the guy was shorter. I think that if they clone somebody, they're going to at least have the same color eyes. And and I think he acted different. I think he acted like he was trying to impersonate. I think he's an impersonator of some type. And an actor, some kind of... I think he was shorter. I think he was not the same size as him. That's why he was wearing this ill-fitting suit. I think he looks different. His eyes are different. His tone is different. His energy is different. He's just like, it's not him. And I think a clone would be more representative of him. Like the Demi Moore one, she could be a clone. And so that one could be... Where'd my nose thing go? So, 'cause she looks a lot like her. But I don't know. I mean... there's stuff to remain to be seen, and supposedly, Demi and what was her husband's name? Bruce. They were going to the island. I think they went to the island a lot of times. I'm not sure. They're pretty sure that they're on some party lists and stuff. There's a lot of people. And that doesn't mean every single person went and participated in the darkness that went there, because I think they had a lot of parties. I think they did a lot of draw people in and make it look that, this is the place to be. And then I think there was people who were also, doped up in their drinks, and then there's cameras everywhere to catch them doing things so that they can hold it against them. So I think it was all like a big sham. I think there was probably people who eventually started finding out. It stopped going. So I think it was pushed as like, oh, it's the place to be, You want on the A-list, go to one of these parties. So I don't know. But I definitely don't think that this whole thing with the, question everything, folks, is, it was it's putting everybody in the wrong direction. Like it was making us look up all the good guys, and that everything that they did bad was all pretend, so that they could bring in people who we never heard of and make them the bad guys. So, I don't know. I think that because they definitely make a big focus on Donald. And so that draws in a lot of people, and that though is a catalyst person who to get your eyes on this stuff so that they can try and give you more information. And so I think that he is a big draw that people want to go and well, if he's done this and he's done that. And but over this stuff that we saw back then, I mean, they're gonna have a hard time convincing me that Oprah, like, that this is even the original. And Tom, I mean, he's out there pushing his new coffee. That's not the real one. It's somebody else, and it could be a clone. Like, I mean, that one looks enough like him. It could be a clone. It could be his brother, though. His brother looks just like him. He could be just a stand-in. Who knows? But so I don't think it's the original one. I think that guy was put to sleep. He got his cement brick shoes, years ago. And I think a lot of these people who are out there, they're not here anymore. I don't think the Oprah is here anymore. And so, and even, I mean, there's clips going around even when she had these pedos on there, and she's like, on her show, like a long time ago. And it seemed like she was trying to do good things, expose things. But then you go and you listen, and it's like, wait a minute. It's more like she's telling people something different. Like, oh, well, it's okay. I mean, some kids like it. It's like, what? And so, yeah, I mean, and then plus, I mean, not only is Harry out there pushing, Oprah's a really good guy, good person, and you guys are so foolish. I can't believe you fall for it. Can't believe you guys, and he sits there laughing. I mean, he's so fucking arrogant. It's like, dude, shut up. And then he is, when he went to the next level of like, clones are like making fun of people that they think that there's clones out there. It's like, okay, I don't know where you got found. I don't know what you're getting paid to talk about, but yeah, I can't even listen to your bullshit. So, and the one thing, because it's real easy for people to go and listen to somebody who stands they try to stand on business. They stand with authority and trying to misguide you and mislead you. And a lot of people fall for it. And you just gotta, like, everything is just so much like, just sit back and watch the show, man. Don't get too caught up and hung up in all of the BS and stuff. Like, things are gonna play out. We're gonna see who's real and who's not real and what they've done and all of those things. Things are gonna become more clear. And I think there's probably gonna be, some things that happen where some of the stuff we're just gonna stop caring. We're going to be like, I don't really care. Just, because we're going to move into a different space. We're going to move into a higher vibration. We're going to move out of their space, and we're going to create our own space. So we're going to, start a new world, and it's not going to be, and they can't get into it. So do we really care? Do we really need all the names? Give me the list. I'm going to check their names as they're trying to get through the door. It's like they can't get through the door. They can't even get down the sidewalk to get to the door. It's like their vibration is going to hold them back. And then I think people just don't realize how significant your vibration is, your tone, who you are, what it is you carry, and where it is that, what doors open up for you. And you want all the doors to open, you got to carry the tone of love and acceptance, and not bitterness and judgment and hatefulness. And so all those things really hold you back. And that's what's really cool about that song that lady's putting out right now, because it's really calling people out on them, on you, like your stuff that you're carrying. Don't sit here and just blame this person. Yeah, we all make mistakes. We all do dumb things, and anybody who's gone through being a parent, knows, like, man, you're just shooting from the hip. You don't know what the fuck you're doing, and you're carrying your own damage. You got your own damage going, and so you can't, you can't be a full success, in everybody's eyes, because you don't know what the hell you're doing. And everything you're doing, you're learning as you go. And you learn as you pass it, and you look back, and that's why you find your lessons. It's like, oh man, I would have done that different. And the things is that the things you did in the past, you wouldn't be doing them again the same way, because you've learned to be different. You've learned things from what you went through. So that's why you go through them, is because you're learning and you're growing from the things that you go through. So yeah, it's meant to be that way. That's what you're here to experience, is learning and growing, and the people who are around you come in and do it with you. It's just like everybody forgets, and then this world starts misleading people, and then starts building on their own ego and cut people off and don't have anything to do with them. But then, like I said, eventually all of a sudden you find yourself in isolation, you find yourself alone. And, and maybe nobody can hurt your feelings, but, how's the loneliness treating you? It's way better to go out and participate in life, and to get yourself to a strength of, somebody can say something to you and it's just like, oh, that's your opinion. I don't really care what you think. I know you want me to value your opinion, but I don't. So it's just letting go of everybody else's attitude. That's the beauty. That's the gift, is that going through it and then being able to just be like, hey, because I used to get crushed, man. I used to feel horrible if somebody, you're trying to please people, you're trying to make people like you, you're trying to do the right thing, and pretty soon you just feel like you're just in this fucking tornado. You can't please everybody, you can't do it all, you can't be it all, and it's like it's consuming you. And then it's all of a sudden you get thrown out of the tornado, and you're laying there and it's like, man, I gotta start over. And you start being like, well, I don't really want to do that again. I don't want to try and please you. It's like, you're not pleasing me. Why am I trying to please you? It's like, I think it's much more better to just, for me to be true to myself, for everybody to be true to themselves. And if you don't click, it doesn't really matter. It's not like the end of the world. It's, people will come in, especially like if you're on a platform and you're speaking publicly about things, people will come in and think that they can attack you, they can say whatever they want to you. And that stuff would have bothered me. Now it's just like, hey, we're not vibing the same, we're not on the same vibration. I look at things different than you look at things, and that's okay. But there's nothing to argue about, And then anything that anybody tells you, you can pocket it. You can pocket it and you can keep it in there rattling around like, well, what do I think? What do I want to do? Who do I want to be? And it is, you don't have to, though, go and change for other people. You don't have to try and please other people all the time. And they said that kind of is the tone of our society, because that's how they had to keep us all in a line. They had to make us care about what everybody else thought so that they could use each other to bully each other to keep us all in form, So, yeah, it's like the kids lined up, and then the other kids, get back in line, they're cutting, they're over there. And so, and we got to stop going into line for them, which I was just talking to one of my daughters, and she was saying, at school now, they're not even teaching things anymore. I keep seeing people talk about that. It's like, at this point, I would pull myself out. I pull my kids out of the government education system. There's going to be more new ones coming in. Then there's lots of teachers leaving. And there's lots of teachers who, if we start supporting the teachers who are leaving because they don't want to be involved with these ridiculous agendas and not helping kids and stuff, then we'll start getting back to having teachers that really care and really want to help kids. But I mean, right now we're at such a fall apart. Even the information that they're teaching, they're teaching them a fake history, a fake science, everything is false. It's just to control us, to take up our time. And then, they are really hurting the kids because they want to create a generation of dependent people who don't know how to interact with each other. They don't know how to correspond. They don't know how to deal with emotions. They don't, and it's working. Like, they have got kids like a mess. And then to make them dependent on like AI and stuff, because then you can program them into thinking the way you want stuff. But anyways, so they've got the kids like right where they want them. And they've got these kids that are emotionally immature. They can't handle anything. They are they've got them to grow away from any kind of authority and kind of elders of your people. They got them all thinking they're a bunch of idiots, they're stupid. It's just the whole thing. And then they're not giving them any good information. All they're trying to do is make their new slave more controllable. And so it's their way that they are trying to create their future. But it's all going to end, but it's all going to be a big smackdown, because then we're going to see there's going to be a lot of clarity. But like I said, I think we're going to go through moments of clarity and seeing, but I think there's going to be a lot of stuff where it's just going to be like, we're going to, because it kind of binds you, it holds you in space, it holds you in a place when you're, well, I need to know about this, I need to see justice, I need this and I need that. It's like, no, you're taking up too much of my time. You've already got too much of my time. I need to get out there and live my life. I need to get out there. And that doesn't mean, just going to the bars and stuff. Like, you got all these people who are just like, we're in the middle of this WW3. Well, now some people are calling it WW2.5. So I don't know, but there's a whole big drama going on. And there's places getting blown. There's people coming in with these. Like, there's all sorts of bullshit going on. And now, even at the airports, now they're saying, well, you need to get there for 3 to 4 hours early. People are missing their flights. And they're saying there's not enough TSA agents. And I don't know what the fuck is going on, man. It just is way more of getting us to just separate from this, just go, and not, it's like this mindless travel, this mindless, like, life's hard, let's just go down to the bar and get drunk together. And so there's going to be more of these, shootouts and going on in places and all this stuff happening, because, what we need to do is, spend more time in nature, spend more time in reflection, spend more time trying to, becoming yourself, not just trying to live. But then the thing with switches is where we're going to want to start living, but it's kind of the aftermath. Like right now, going out and living, you're in an unsafe space where everything is blowing up, because it's the ending of this world. And it's like you're trying to get out there for one last hurrah, and it's a world that's ending. But is the one that's beginning, that's going to be like, that's going to be where, I don't care about the cases and the courts and all the things. It's like we've left that behind and we're ready to move on and start creating and building a new world. So when we get to that part, right now we're still in the part of this one ending. And so, yeah, and you still have all these people, going out there trying to be a part of the, it's like, you got to pay attention, man. This place is ending. Everything's ending. And so, our money didn't end this week so far, but this whole thing about driving the gas up and the petrol and all, like, it's all a part of this big thing. However, it's going to go down. And there's a whole bunch of people pushing on, the med beds are out. The med beds are out. People are saying, I've already got my appointment. I already have been in. But what they're explaining is not the ones that, the military ones. These are more of these healing centers. And some of these healing centers seem to really be trying to push, like, well, we're med beds. And which they, are a certain type of med bed, but the med bed, the military med bed, the ones that they've been using, the technology that they have, is you go in at one time. You go in at one time and your stuff is fixed. And there's one that I saw this lady saying, yeah, I already went in and went, and you go multiple times. And she said, I'm working on my nearsightedness. And I'm like, okay, so they're putting out the new med beds, the real med beds, the military ones that reverse your aging and heal all your cells and grow your parts back and stuff like that. But they're picking somebody who's just working on nearsightedness, and it takes her a few times to go in. I was like, no, and there's such a big push, like. But there's so much in the conversation now. So many people are talking about med beds. So many people know that med beds are coming. But yeah, you got to watch out, because they're really pushing all this stuff. So the ones that are the military ones, the ones that they've been using, for decades. This isn't something that they just created. This is something they kept hidden from us. They can turn back time, reverse your aging. They grow back body parts that are missing. They completely heal all your stuff. Like all these people who are, going in with, the big C, they're going to be able to go in there and be healed. And that's going to rock the world to a lot of people when people start being like, oh my God, we've had this technology and they've kept it hidden from us. And I've had people die that I loved. So it's going to be, it's going to be an emotional roller coaster, and we still got more to go. So it's not going to suddenly, because we got a lot of spiritual people out there trying to be like, oh no, now we're in the new timeline, now we're in the new age, all of that stuff. It's like, well, when we get there, it's going to be because we have created it. Right now, this place is still being torn down, and we still have a lot more stuff to recognize, to see. And that's going to be, a big part of it, the technologies and stuff that they've kept hidden from us that could have been benefiting us and helping us, but they've kept it hidden from us to torture us. So anyways, they do like a good torture, don't they? That's what they enjoy. So anyways, we're still we're still on the roller coaster. We're not off the ride yet. So you just got to keep on just watching, enjoy the, what is that? Enjoy the ride, enjoy the view from your seat, and there's a big part, just try and stay in observation, just try and watch and go with the flow. Don't get too caught up in all these little dramas, because all those little dramas are there to kind of trap you. It's like a minefield out there of trapping. So anyways, just go with the flow, let things happen. And then, there's going to be more and more people who you think like that you listened to and you trusted and you thought that they were giving good information, and all of a sudden it's like, no, not at all. Like I don't know, if they're a plant. I don't know what the deal is, but just consider it to be, a workout for your discernment. It's not like you have to be able to run a marathon at this point with your discernment. You just have to learn to navigate and learn how to trust yourself. And there's so many people now who keep wanting me to talk more about, how do you do telepathy? How do you do channeling and stuff like that? And the thing is when I started doing it, it was just a natural thing. So I didn't know I was doing something. I thought this is just what life is. I thought this is how we live. So I had no idea. And so I can give ideas and practices of what, to do. And then so much of it has to do with learning to trust yourself. Recognizing that the voices that you have going in your head are not just you. It's not just your thoughts. It's not just your mind is creating all these. No, you are in communication. You're always in communication. But you've got to stop, slow down, and start listening. And then when you hear certain things, talk back. Ask questions, start talking back, and then listening, and you're going to think, no, I just thought of that. It's not really, there's not someone talking to me. Well, ask them things so that you can figure out some way to prove it to yourself. I've had it proved to me a jillion times. So, and then you'll start recognizing the voices, the vibration, the tone. You'll start recognizing it. And so, but this is all just practicing, you're just learning to practice. And then I saw this one guy who was a medium or something yesterday, and he said, oh yeah, there's people telling people that everybody can become psychic and stuff like that. That's not true. It's like, dude, yes, everybody can. Everybody can. So don't sit there and listen to people saying, no, there's only a few people who can. No, there's a few people who came naturally. But yeah, you've just got to learn that you're like an antenna picking up on all this stuff. You're bringing it in, processing it. Then you're thinking it's you, and you're spinning out, and they're keeping you busy, and you got all these things going. That's where you got to slow it down. You got to be like, wait a minute, what's going on up in here? And then you start communicating back with some of them, when some of the stuff is said. And then you start recognizing the lower vibration and the higher vibration and what they say. There's a lot to it, and I talk about it all the time, but anyways, there's a lot of people now asking me to talk more about it, and it's like, well, I talk about this stuff every day on YouTube, so I'll try and interject more things about that, but it's, kind of basically the same thing, but I'll keep adding more and more to it, because it is a practice. It's just learning how to trust yourself, to listen, to slow down, to, converse with who's talking in your head, because it's all in your head. It's, you hear it, and then you can start seeing things, but it's just, practice. I don't know. So, but I'll do what I can to try and help people figure it out. So anyways, but I will definitely tell you, right now with all this stuff going on and them trying to hold us back and you wanting to move forward, the moving forward is learning how to love yourself and learning how to love everybody else, and learning how to maneuver through the minefield that they've got out here for us. So learning how to dodge all of the pain and suffering and to stay true to yourself, and make sure you have the day you want to have, even when there's nothing but chaos going on. You don't have to just focus on that. You can be aware of it, but you don't have to let it take you over. So anyways, we'll see what they come at us with, because they're going to keep coming at you. And because this is, even if it's WW 2.5 or WW3, this is the battle for your soul. So anyways, it's a big battle, and they're going to keep trying to hold you back and hold you in their space, because we're trying to break free and create our own. So anyways, it's it's what we're here for. It's why we came. So don't get upset about it. Don't freak out. Just know that that's what you're here to do, and just do what you got to do. So anyways, but we'll see what happens today, and we'll talk about it tomorrow. So I'll talk to you later. Bye.